How do you hold your dignity when the person you loved decides you're no longer worth a conversation? Comment by letting their silence define the end, and your discipline define the future. On a quiet Thursday morning, Ethan Caldwell was deep in focus, refining performance metrics for a high-stakes client presentation. The office around him buzzed faintly with the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant rhythm of keyboards, a familiar stillness that lulled the mind into clarity. Then, his phone vibrated sharply, breaking the calm like a stone dropped into still water. It was a text from his wife, Marissa. I'm filing for divorce. All communication will go through my attorney, Jason Mitchell. His contact info will follow shortly. No warning. No discussion. Just a line of calculated finality that severed 14 years of marriage. Ethan stared at the message, not yet heartbroken, just stunned by its mechanical precision. She had already lawyered up. Already decided he wasn't even worth a face-to-face goodbye. His response was a single word. Understood. There were no tears. No pleading. Just movement. Within the hour, Ethan began to unwind their entangled lives. Marissa still had access to 4 credit cards. He removed her as an authorized user on all of them. The monthly allowance he'd been transferring into her account. Every shared streaming platform. Lockdown passwords changed. The SUV she drove was leased under Ethan's name. Insured on his policy. He made no changes yet but marked it for review with his attorney. The fuel card tied to his name. Cancelled. This wasn't vengeance, it was structure. She wanted a legal separation, not a discussion. Ethan would give her exactly that. A legal, calculated response, absent of emotional leniency. 45 minutes later, Jason Mitchell's contact details arrived. Ethan forwarded them to Celia Hart, his own divorce attorney. She was known for her brutal efficiency and strategic mind. Expensive but worth every dollar. He scheduled a meeting for that evening, attached Marissa's message, and labeled it simply. Initiation. When he got home, he noticed her closet was half empty. She was gone. 3 days later, on a muted Sunday afternoon, Ethan's phone rang. He let it buzz 3 times before answering. Mr. Caldwell, this is Jason Mitchell, representing Marissa Caldwell. The voice was sharp, practiced. Jason accused Ethan of financially paralyzing his client, cutting off her access to necessities like groceries and transportation. He warned that such behavior would reflect poorly in court. Ethan didn't flinch. She insisted on legal-only communication, he said evenly. She terminated the marriage by text. I'm honoring her structure. If she requires financial support, she can pursue it through proper legal channels. Jason paused. Papers rustled faintly in the background. He said he'd follow up. You are, Ethan replied and hung up. His heart raced, but his mind stayed clear. He called Celia and relayed everything. She asked precise questions, then affirmed his actions. Those cards were yours. That allowance wasn't mandated by any court. If they want temporary support, they'll need to file. We'll respond based on her real needs, not what she was used to. Before ending the call, Celia added, You're not reacting, Ethan. You're controlling the narrative. That's what she didn't expect. That night, Ethan began seeing Marissa not as his wife, but as an opponent in litigation. He documented everything. Every email, every account closure, every single decision. She wanted a negotiation, not a reconciliation. So be it. On Tuesday evening, while clearing his dinner dishes, his phone rang again. This time it was Lena, Marissa's older sister. Ethan, what the hell is going on? Her voice was edged with anger. She's sleeping on my couch, crying. You can't buy groceries. You just cut her off. She filed for divorce without a conversation and directed me to her lawyer, he said calmly. I'm following her instructions. She thought you'd still support her, at least until things were settled. She never asked, Ethan replied. She didn't talk to me. She sent a message and walked out. Lena paused. She's scared. She didn't expect this. I didn't hire a lawyer and end a marriage by text. Lena was quiet for a long moment. You were distant for a while. Maybe, he said, but I didn't abandon her without a word. The next morning, Ethan received a bank alert. An attempted withdrawal from a dormant joint account with only $460 in it. Marissa had found the old debit card and tried to access the funds. The bank flagged the activity. Ethan went to the branch and had the account frozen. Celia commended the move. It showed a clear attempt to sidestep the agreed-upon legal process. The emergency hearing was scheduled for the following Monday. Ethan arrived in court in a charcoal suit and pale blue shirt. No tie, just as Celia advised. Polished, not performative. Marissa was there too. Her face was drawn, her eyes heavy. Her lawyer, Jason, opened with emotional appeals, painting Marissa as a woman abandoned, struggling, desperate. Then Celia stood. Your Honor, she said, we submit the initial message from Mrs. Caldwell, where she mandated that all contact go through legal counsel, sent before any financial changes were made. The judge, an experienced man in his 60s, read the message quietly, expression neutral. Celia continued. Our client removed her from accounts that were solely in his name. He has continued to pay the mortgage, utilities, taxes, and lease on the vehicle she uses. These were discretionary accounts, not joint. Jason argued again, but the judge cut him off. Mrs. Caldwell, he said, did you attempt to discuss financial arrangements with your husband before sending this message? No, she said quietly. Did he threaten or intimidate you? No. Did he reach out? I didn't give him the chance. The ruling came quickly. Temporary support for food and rent only. No luxury expenses. No legal fees covered. Ethan felt relief. Controlled, quiet, earned. 2 days later, HR called Ethan into a meeting. An anonymous complaint had been filed, accusing him of using company resources for personal legal matters and behaving erratically at work. He presented personal device logs and was quickly cleared. His supervisor backed him fully. Celia wasn't surprised. Retaliation, she said. She wanted to trigger an investigation. The judge will take note. That same night, Marissa broke her own rule and texted Ethan at 10:15 p.m. Asterisk, please don't take the SUV. I need it for my job. Can we talk? Asterisk. He took a screenshot, forwarded it to Celia, and replied. Asterisk, please direct all communication through Mr. Mitchell. Asterisk. No further texts came. The SUV. Still under his name. Celia had already notified Jason. Transfer the lease within 30 days, or return the vehicle. Otherwise payments would stop. She bends rules when they stop serving her, Celia observed. Stay disciplined. That's why we're winning. Ethan filed for exclusive use of the home. Marissa hadn't lived there in over a month. When she failed to transfer the vehicle, the leasing company repossessed it, retrieved from Lena's apartment complex. Lena called furious. You had her car taken. She had over a month. She didn't act. That was the consequence. During financial discovery, Celia uncovered a hidden savings account, funded by Marissa's parents. Not enormous but significant. Jason argued it was separate property. Celia countered. The account had been opened during the marriage and supplemented with shared resources. Worse, it had been intentionally hidden. The judge took note. Combined with the HR stunt, it painted a clear picture. Trial was scheduled. But 10 days before, Jason folded. Your client's approach lacks transparency, the judge had said. It was the final push. The settlement favored Ethan. Asterisk a 65/35 split of the house equity in Ethan's favor. Asterisk 15 months of capped spousal support, no back pay. Asterisk the parents' fund was ruled separate, but frozen from future claims. Asterisk the SUV remained Ethan's. Marissa moved into a one-bedroom apartment on the west side, working freelance. Her friends, once vocal, faded away. She never apologized. Not for the message. Not for the silence. Not for the accusations. Ethan sold the house, deposited the proceeds, and severed all remaining ties. He rejoined a fitness class, rebuilt friendships, and slept, truly slept, for the first time in months. Peace wasn't a luxury. It was his new normal. Weeks later, he ran into Lena at a bookstore. She almost turned away, then approached. "She talks about you," Lena said. "She regrets the way she handled things, the timing, the lawyer. Says she should have said something." Ethan asked, "Does she regret the decision itself?" Lena didn't answer. He nodded. He had seen the signs, a year before, maybe longer. The silence, the detachment. He hadn't left her. But he hadn't reached for her either. She hadn't asked to fix things. She'd hired an attorney. Some people don't want resolution. They want control. She had tried to control the ending. And when she failed, she was left with the silence she'd chosen. And Ethan? He was left with the quiet strength of his own discipline.